And one of the powerful things that's worked for me, and Paula, I'm fairly certain would agree, is you've got to change your identity. Because when you look at where you're at, and a lot of times it's our feelings, we just don't feel happy. There's something missing, a disconnect. And so when we recognize, I want to change that, and you get to a point where you're through. You say, I'm done. I don't want to feel the same way. I don't want to be in debt, whatever it is.
Yes.
And so you get to that point, and then you make a resolution, an intention that a decision, and you act on that decision. You don't have all the answers, and just same thing with
such a good point.
Yeah, with discovering your purpose. It's not like God's going to give you everything you need.
Write it across the sky.
Yeah, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, lean not unto thine own understanding, all thy ways acknowledge me, and I will direct your steps.
Absolutely.
It's like there's that element of faith and belief, and when we recognize that I don't have all the answers, but I'm going in this direction because, one, I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to go. And we go. And it's interesting, as you did that, you changed your state, things began to show up. People began to show up.
You showed up.
Yeah. and that's how it works. And so when we begin to change and reflect on the things that we want, and we begin, I call it living in the future. It's almost like you recognize, this is what I want. Let's say if your goal is money, I want to have $1 million in the bank. Well, you have to begin to live as if that's happening now.
Right.
And because what you're doing, the way that God's created our mind, is the subconscious will connect to what you believe.
Absolutely.
Because literally what we do every day is based on our subconscious belief systems.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, those are screwed up.
Many times, yeah.
And we've got to reprogram our brain to believe that God wants to bless us.
Absolutely.
And He wants to give us. He said He desires to prosper us.
Absolutely.
Because, and I'm not necessarily talking about the toys, those are nice. It's really the other element. I want to kind of dig deeper into this piece, because for me, you can get out of debt, you can get out of the toys, but you can still have that missing element.
Oh yeah, I mean, you see people that are very successful with that, and they commit suicide. You see,
Correct.
You see people that are very, very successful that, unfortunately, end their journey, because that void is still calling them, and they don't know how to fill it up. They've been filling it up, being busy and getting stuff. Right?
Correct. And so, take us to the next part of your life that this really stuck out for me, is more where you kind of got more in tune to the spiritual element.
Yes.
Because it sounds like you got some of the debts paid off, you got a lot of money in the bank, but still something was missing.
Oh yeah.
So if you could kind of help the people who are watching.
Yeah.
Because there may be people who got a great job, got a great family, but there's something missing, and it's like, where do I find that missing element? So if you can kind of share your story.
You share yours first.
I did.
Oh, let's see. And I'm not because I don't want to share it. I'm just kind of thinking through this. So let's see. It is that beautiful state, I think, that leads it, right? So instead of looking at what's wrong and not trusting myself, I think that times that I have sort of floundered and felt the worst and got into the rut again and gone even backwards, is when I started trusting everybody else has the answer, looking to the outside world, going, whatever, not trusting myself. And when I come at this from, who am I really? Yeah. Who am I really? And who am I really with God? Like, really getting honest about that. Who am I really? I'm not. And when I got into that place, instead of like, oh, I want to be the millionaire, and this guru says do these 5 things and you'll be a millionaire. He says it works this way, and trying all of his way, and it wasn't working for me. Like you said this before we got started, that your purpose is your own journey. How do you find your own journey, right? And others people's journey may not be yours many times, and so we get hooked onto, they did it that way, so let me do what they're doing. And some of what they're doing can work, and other parts of it takes us away from trusting ourselves. So as I think about that, the answer to how it came from sort of the stuff and paying it off and being like, in the world realm, there was this piece where I stayed in the beautiful state, and that beautiful state was calling me to a different different view.
Mhm.
And from that view, it became, I just realized that all these mistakes, when I go backwards, when when things blow up, or I get burn out, or whatever it is, because I can get really much into doing
Yeah.
again. And when that goes wrong, I am not trusting myself.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the answer somewhere else.
Mhm.
And the more that I can like look at, who am I really? Who do I want to be? And where am I, like, what am I doing here? It's people pleasing. It's looking to other people for all the answers, not trusting myself.
Yeah.
And when that comes into play for me, it's like the next level, right?
Mhm.
So I had to get able to love myself, I think. Like in that first journey is to
Yeah.
love myself and look for sources of love, look where there is love, look for God for love, all of that stuff, and trust that God was loving, because I didn't trust that so much.
Yeah.
And then I had to that time I had to hang on to other people who had that. And then once I got to that place and I saw the good, the new people that were showing up, the new opportunities that were showing up, I was hanging out with different people. I was talking to myself differently, self-love wise, right? Then I started thinking, who am I? And I started seeing some things that weren't adding up for me, that were mistakes of going backwards. And I was like, what is sort of going on here? And a lot of it was not trusting myself, and not trusting that, that it's all for my good. This is a new one for me. It's all for my good. This is in the last year. It's all to my good. And anything that happens, really, sometimes I get reactive for a little while, and then after a while, I'm like, okay, God, it's all to my good. I know I'm on this journey. But being able to really take that next level of, it's me. This is not him or her or the fault or brokenness of the world. It's what's inside of me. And once I got connected to, who am I and how am I trusting myself? Who am I in the relationship with this spiritual journey? What's my mission? I really spent a lot of time on this idea of what is my mission? And at first, for the coaching world, it was like, what's my message? What's my marketing message? Even that strategy stuff. But then it got to, what is my mission? And if you would spend time with that, I'm talking to, everybody's listening, not you, because you do it. But if you spend time like just thinking, what is it that I lose time when I do, that I absolutely love, that I help people? It's like my magic, right? It's my mojo. What is it when that's going on? Because there's your mission. That's the mission you agreed to.
Yeah.
And then once you get connected to that and you start to trust yourself, and like you said, it's not like the blueprints in front of you.
Yeah.
The blueprint is every day acting from your highest level of excitement.
Yeah.
What is really cool and exciting?
Yeah.
For me, it's great to receive a $500,000 check. It is.
Yeah.
It's great to have a corporate client that signs me up for, come help my whole company and all that stuff. It's great to go to Guatemala and like we're doing and helping people come out of poverty. But what is really great is when I'm with somebody and they are getting it, at how abundant their life is, and that God is part of this story. And they're we're like some ways like shy to talk about it. Like we know it, but we don't want to talk about God. We don't want to talk about. And when they open up to, let's go there. Let's talk spirituality. Let's talk that, and let's talk about how that can be part of my business. How it really is. Yeah. When I'm in that mode, it doesn't matter about the $500,000 check. Yeah. It's like, that's a minute, but this is the juice, right? Yeah. So it's that piece of trusting yourself, that piece of on purpose trying to find what is it that fills me up.
I'm going to add real quick, and then I'm going to give you an opportunity to let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Thank you.
It's the connection with your purpose and the abundance.
Yes.
And if your desire is to have abundance, wealth, or a purpose to serve other people, then I believe that's something God's going to bless.
Yes.
And it's interesting, her passion was working with animals, but she never saw that as a vocational opportunity for her. But once she did, she took that step, she stepped out of her fear and moved forward, her passion and her purpose really manifested the creativity and the flow of the abundance that came, i.e. the 3 times her salary before. And that's how it works, because if you're doing something you love, they say you would do it for free. Not that you would, but you could, because everything is going to flow from that. And it's just amazing when you think about uniting your purpose with your calling and your vocation. Too many people have a job because it's comfortable, because they got to pay their bills, and then they do their passion on the weekends. Well, I'm one of those individuals that I am doing what I love, and I'm being blessed for it because of that. Amazing interview. You're just such an amazing person. I've learned so much more. Share with our audience how they can get in touch with you if they want to get some coaching or information on you.
That's so nice of you too. Sure. Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, all the places. Paula Boland, and my last name is spelled Bohland. And you can find me on, Facebook, my feed, just my personal feed. You can find all kinds of stuff about me. You can send me an email and just give you my email address. I'm not, my professional email is Paula Boland. It's really easy. Coaching@gmail.com. And the name of my company is Paula B Coaching. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.